The date is January 8th, 2021. On this day, I heard from my friend Jake that Canadian National 2466, a Blue Devil locomotive, was leading an ethanol train down CSX's Columbus Subdivision. So, I got into my car and drove up here to the Jewett Road/Road 127 railroad crossing in Powell, Ohio to see it. Not long after arriving, the horn of 2466 was heard, and I got set up to catch it. Canadian National 2466 is a GE C40-8W built in 1994, and Canadian National 2644 is a C44-9W built in 2002. Although I don't know where the devil part of the nickname came from, it's pretty obvious where the blue part came from. 2466 was originally built as Locomotive Management Services 739, or LMS for short. LMS was a leasing company jointly owned by General Electric and Conrail back in the 1990s, hence the reason why 2466 is painted blue. The reason why LMS was created was because Conrail needed a fleet of locomotives that could be more compatible in leasing services with other railroad locomotives, and the C40-8W was the engine chosen for that service. The next place we saw the Blue Devil at was at the parking lot at the ranch on Goodale Street in downtown Columbus. Here is where CSX's Columbus Subdivision crosses the Buckeye Branch. Back in the 1990s, this was one of the places where CSX crossed Conrail. It wasn't long before 2466 then came across the diamond, and for a brief moment was back on home rails. Getting back to the Blue Devil's history, 739 stayed with LMS until 2002, when it and its other siblings were sold off to the Illinois Central, which is the reason why there are IC reporting marks under the cab sides. When it got to the IC, it was renumbered to 2466, and since the Illinois Central was already under full ownership of the Canadian National, the CN logo was placed on the side of the body of locomotive. Despite the Canadian National buying out the Illinois Central back in 1999, the IC still exists, but only as a paper railroad, and if you go to the Canadian National's old Illinois Central lines, you might find some Canadian National locomotives with IC reporting marks marked under the cab sides. Once the train got by, I then relocated to the old abandoned Duval Road Railroad crossing just south of Lockbourne, Ohio to wait for it. The train that 2466 was leading on was forced to stop back at Parsons Yard for a crew change as it was leaving the Columbus sub and now entering onto the Northern sub, which is the single-track line we are on now. The other tracks close by are Norfolk Southern's Columbus District, and nearby is their large Rickenbacker Intermodal Facility. This facility serves as NS's intermodal hub for Central Ohio. After some time of waiting, a pair of headlights showed up on Norfolk Southern. It was their local train, being led by Norfolk Southern 4659, a rebuilt EMD GP59E, and NS 3371, an EMD SD40-2. We'll get back to the history of these two locomotives here in a minute. Once the NS local got by, I then went to go and check the signal on CSX's Northern sub. After a bit more time of waiting, the signal then turned green, and soon 2466's headlights appeared in the distance. I then got set up to watch 2466 come by one more time. Getting back to the NS local, NS 4659 was built in 1989 as a regular GP59 and was originally numbered 4638. What makes this engine more notable than the rest is its Operation Lifesaver paint scheme. Operation Lifesaver is a safety campaign designed to bring awareness to railroad crossing safety and to try to prevent rail versus road accidents. As part of the campaign, many Class 1 railroads, such as Norfolk Southern, have painted Operation Lifesaver schemes onto some of their locomotives. Getting to the other Norfolk Southern engine, NS 3371 was built in 1977, originally for Conrail, as their 6429. Once the Conrail split-up occurred in 1999, 6429 was given to NS and renumbered to 3371, but it retained its classic Conrail blue paint scheme all the way up until 2010, when it was repainted into Norfolk Southern's black and white paint scheme. And now we're at the end of yet another John's Trains Adventures video. I know this one was a little short, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later!